Leo souls, this is your moment. A massive financial win and long overdue karmic and legal justice are aligning for you on October 13-14, and no, it's not a coincidence that you've landed on this video right now. Something inside you knows you didn't come here by chance. You may have felt a strange pull lately, a sense that something is shifting beneath the surface, and you'd be right. The energy is speaking louder now, and it's time you listened. The cosmos has been watching, taking note of every time you stayed true to yourself, even when it cost you opportunities, comfort, or connection. You didn't bend. You didn't break. And now? The reward is on its way, not just in the form of money, but in something far greater: restoration, respect, realignment. Welcome to Eternal Mindfulness, the sacred space where timing isn't just perfect, it's divine. When you pressed play on this video, you activated a message that has been waiting for your spirit to be ready. This isn't just another weekly reading. This is a call. A call to prepare for a breakthrough that is not only material, but soul deep. The kind of shift that changes how you show up in the world. The kind that turns former wounds into future wealth. Over the next few minutes, I'll walk with you through the energies building around mid-October, the astrological movements, the spiritual insight, the tarot confirmations, and how they specifically affect Leo energy. Mars traveling through Libra is no small thing. The Sun moving closer to Mercury is turning up the volume on clarity. Justice, both cosmic and legal, is coming into balance. And if you felt overlooked, underpaid, silenced, or underestimated, this message is for you. But first, take a moment. Slow down. Tune in. There's something sacred in even arriving here. That deep exhale you just took. That's the sound of your nervous system softening because your spirit recognizes the truth in what's being said. If this message already resonates, if some part of you knows there's something big coming but you just didn't have the words for it yet, I invite you to mark this moment by typing in the comments below, "I'm ready for my breakthrough." Let that be your confirmation. Your activation. Your alignment. This isn't just for algorithm engagement. This is for you to declare out loud, even digitally, that you are stepping into a new timeline. Let me take a second to say thank you. Your presence here, your likes, your comments, your shares, and your decision to subscribe doesn't go unnoticed. You are part of this family we're building. Your support doesn't just grow this channel. It sends waves of healing and confirmation to others who are still searching for their moment. You are a lighthouse, even when you don't feel like one. And Leo, trust me when I say, you're going to want to stay until the very end of this video. What the universe is revealing right now is bigger than anything you've experienced so far, and it's about time it was yours. Now tell me, what energy brought you here today? What made you click? That's where your story begins. Let's step into it together. There's something quietly heroic about you, Leo, and I know you've heard that before in horoscopes that praise your strength, your pride, your presence. But what they often miss is how exhausting it can be to carry all that light and still walk through darkness. You've held your ground in situations that would have broken others. Not with loud defiance, but with quiet choices. You chose dignity when disrespect was easier. You chose loyalty even when others didn't deserve it. And perhaps most of all, you chose to keep showing up even when you weren't sure if it would ever be seen. There's a specific kind of heartbreak that comes from giving your all in silence. It doesn't make headlines. It doesn't always earn applause. But it shapes your spirit in a way that shallow victories never could. You didn't just fight external battles, you wrestled with your own heart, asking if kindness was still worth it, if patience had any payoff, if being the bigger person was truly the higher path. And here's what the stars are saying now, with absolute clarity: yes. It was. It still is. And it's about to come full circle. Astrologically, Mars moving through Libra right now is a big deal. Mars is about courage, action, even confrontation, but Libra demands balance, justice, and harmony in relationships. This transit is pushing you to reclaim your voice, not through rage or revenge, but through grounded self-respect. You're being asked to remember that fairness doesn't have to be fought for with fire. Sometimes it returns like a tide when we least expect it, quietly, but powerfully. And then there's the Sun, your ruling planet, edging closer to Mercury. This is the voice of your soul aligning with the clarity of thought. If you've been waiting for a conversation to happen, a truth to rise, a decision to come through, it's on its way. But here's the nuance: it will come not because you forced it, but because you were ready to receive it. This is what I mean when I say your rewards aren't random. October isn't a lucky fluke. It's a return on emotional investment. The courtroom of life has been in session for a while now, and the evidence, your choices, your integrity, your silent strength has been building. And justice, both legal and karmic, is ready to be served. But don't mistake this for a mere transaction. It's not just about getting what you're owed. It's about being shown that doing the right thing does still matter. That faith, even if it was quiet, uncertain, or messy, was still faith. And it moved mountains in ways you couldn't see yet. Maybe you're not someone who prays in the traditional sense. But if you've ever whispered to the sky, "I just hope this is worth it," that was a prayer. If you've ever cried in your car and kept driving, that was a kind of faith. And now, you're stepping into a season where those private moments of grace will be met with public validation. You're not just being given back what was lost. You're being invited to rise into a version of yourself who knows, without doubt, that being real was never weakness. It was the foundation for everything that's about to be built. So if you feel something stirring, some unseen momentum gaining ground beneath your feet, trust it. It's not nerves. It's recognition. Stay with me. We're only beginning to unfold what this turning point means for you. And if this is already touching something in your chest, take a second now and leave a comment below to anchor it. Say, "This is my time," and let that be the first brick of the life you're about to claim. Sometimes, life feels like a long line of delayed outcomes. Money that never arrives. Opportunities that slip through your fingers at the last minute. Promises that vanish into silence. And when those moments pile up, unpaid invoices, one rejection too many, a promotion that went to someone else, it's easy to wonder if the universe is actually keeping track. But Leo, here's what I want you to sit with right now. It has been. Every missed payment. Every overlooked effort. Every closed door you were too proud to force open. The ledger has not been lost, and the balance is finally shifting in your favor. As we approach October 13-14, the astrological landscape is aligning in a way that's rare but undeniable. The energies around you are not just symbolic, they're tangible. This isn't one of those, "maybe next time," cosmic windows. It's a "prepare now" moment. And for those who have waited, sacrificed, and kept their inner fire alive without external validation, this is the return. Not a miracle falling from the sky, but a long overdue payout of everything you've energetically deposited over the past cycle. Whether it's a financial reimbursement, a long-delayed settlement, a career breakthrough, or an unexpected opportunity that finds you ready, this win is not just luck. It's justice. The tarot cards reflecting this shift tell a story you'll likely recognize in your bones. Justice shows up first, and she is not here to ask questions. She is here to restore order. Not favoritism, not revenge, just clarity. If you've been wronged, passed over, or forced to make peace with silence, this energy will be loud on your behalf. Then comes judgment, the reminder that you are not who you used to be. You've evolved, and now the rewards coming your way aren't just compensations, they are invitations to lead with the wisdom you've earned through hardship. Finally, Ace of Pentacles, the signature of a fresh financial beginning. But it's not just a raise or a contract, it's sacred. This is the kind of gift that asks for your commitment in return. Because when the universe hands you something this valuable, it expects you to handle it like the future it represents. It's important to say this plainly: you're not being handed this because you're perfect. You're being handed this because you're ready. And because the journey that got you here bruised, humble, perhaps even doubting, was never meant to end in struggle. It was designed to shape you into the kind of leader who knows what wealth really means. Not just money, but the kind of influence that ripples outward. The kind that supports others, that breaks family patterns, that heals what previous generations couldn't. If you've been asking for a sign, this is it. Not the flashing neon kind, but the quiet, firm kind. The kind that knows your hands have been open for too long, waiting. So when this opportunity arrives, and it will, don't second guess it. Don't ask if you're worthy. Just breathe, open up, and step forward. Whether it's a client saying yes, a court ruling finally leaning your way, or someone offering you exactly what you once prayed for, say thank you and mean it. If this resonates, if even a part of you feels like the door is finally creaking open, I invite you to ground this moment by commenting below. Type, "I welcome the Ace of Pentacles, my sacred financial beginning." Let that be your first move. A declaration not of desire, but of readiness. Because you are. And because everything that's been held back is now coming through. There comes a point in every story, yours included, where the villain, the shadow figure, the silent saboteur finally loses their grip. Not because you exposed them. Not because you fought back harder. But because truth has its own gravity, and eventually, the weight of it collapses whatever was built on lies. If you've been sensing that someone in your life, a coworker, an ex, even someone in your own family, has quietly tried to hold you back or undermine your worth, this next chapter is not about confrontation. It's about elevation. Around October 13-14, a powerful energetic tipping point arrives. The symbolism is loud in the astrology and the numerology alike. The number 13, so often misunderstood, isn't unlucky, it's transformative. It shakes the foundations. It exposes what can no longer stay hidden. The number 14 follows with harmony, the kind that only comes after disruption. And that's exactly what's playing out here. In the language of tarot, this is, the Tower meets the Emperor. Destruction followed by stability. Breakdown followed by rise. You don't need to be mystical to recognize this pattern in your own life. Think back to the person who smiled in your face while quietly stepping over you for the promotion. The friend who disappeared the moment you needed support. The partner who tried to dim your light because they couldn't handle their own insecurities. You've probably carried some of these stories for years, maybe even blamed yourself, questioned your worth, wondered if you were overreacting. And still you chose not to retaliate. You chose to stay in your lane, to focus on becoming more of who you are instead of defending what you weren't. Now, the universe is responding. But not in the way Hollywood might script it. No dramatic showdowns, no final face-offs. Instead, something more poetic is happening. Their false foundations are cracking, not because you pushed, but because they were never built on anything real to begin with. And you, Leo, are rising. Not just into visibility, but into authority. This is where the Emperor energy lives, not in control over others, but in ownership of self. When we talk about justice, we often think of balanced scales or verdicts. But real justice, the kind that changes your nervous system, happens when you no longer need to explain yourself. When your growth, your peace, and your joy become louder than any rumor ever whispered. And that's the reward you're stepping into. Not just the job, not just the recognition, but the power to move through your world without shrinking, without second-guessing, without needing anyone's permission. The truth is, you've always been capable. But timing matters. And now, your season of waiting quietly is turning into a season of walking boldly. It's not that you've suddenly become more valuable. It's that the world is finally catching up to what you've always carried. So if you feel a strange sense of justice in the air, like something's being rebalanced, it is. Let it unfold. Stay focused on your own rise. And remember, you don't need revenge when your success is the proof. Let your peace be your answer. Let your evolution be your closure. If this part of the journey resonates with you, I invite you to ground this truth by commenting, "I rise with clarity, not conflict." Let that be your quiet declaration that you're done explaining and ready to embody. This chapter doesn't require you to look back. Only forward into the version of you that no one can dismiss anymore. Some seasons teach us how to start. Others teach us how to wait. And if you're honest with yourself, Leo, this past stretch of your life, especially since that retrograde window around late July into early August, hasn't been about fireworks. It's been about holding steady. You planted a seed, maybe it was a bold idea for a business, a relationship you thought had potential but slipped away, or even an investment you weren't sure you were ready for. And then, nothing happened. Or at least not the way you imagined. The momentum stalled, the excitement fizzled, and for a moment, you may have doubted whether it was ever the right direction in the first place. But what if the pause wasn't rejection, but refinement? Venus retrograde in Leo wasn't here to punish you. It was here to ask better questions. Not, "Can I have this?" but, "Am I ready to hold it, protect it, grow it when it arrives?" In astrology, retrogrades are review periods, times when we're called inward, not backward. You weren't being left behind. You were being asked to become someone who could handle more, not just more success, but more clarity, more alignment, more truth. Now that we've moved out of that shadow, the picture is clearing. The projects you paused or second-guessed are circling back with a maturity they didn't have before. The relationships that drifted may return with new emotional vocabulary. The opportunities you shelved are whispering again, but this time, you're listening differently. And the truth is, so is the world around you. Tarot confirms this timing. The reversed Hanged Man suggests you've been in suspension not in punishment, but in perspective. You've gained insight by slowing down, and now the universe is nudging you forward again. Knight of Pentacles comes in to remind you that slow isn't stagnant, it's sustainable. The kind of success that sticks is the kind that takes its time. And then there's the Six of Wands, that beautiful sign of public recognition. What you've built in silence is about to speak for itself, not just in numbers or likes, but in respect. In momentum. In the way people look at you and say, I knew something powerful was coming from them. This is the reward of patience, not just the outcome, but who you become along the way. That's what makes this moment so significant. You're not returning to the old project with the same old energy. You're bringing your upgraded self to a familiar path, and that changes everything. It's not just about finishing what you started. It's about finishing it better. Stronger. More you. If you've ever felt frustrated that your effort wasn't recognized, that your timing seemed off, or that your breakthrough always seemed a step too far, this is your confirmation that the cycle is shifting. The gates are opening. The world is ready now. But more importantly, you are. So I want you to anchor this moment by writing it down. Speak it into existence, even if it's just here, in the comments. Say, my harvest arrives at the right time, in the right way. Let those words live somewhere outside of you. Let them echo back what your spirit already knows. Because Leo, it's not that your time is finally coming. It's that it never stopped, it just needed to grow alongside you. And now, you're ready to receive what's been patiently waiting for your alignment. Even when the gates of wealth swing open and legal justice finally tilts in your favor, the universe whispers a sacred reminder: do not lose yourself in the celebration. True victory, my dear Leo, is not about being louder, richer, or more powerful. It's about remaining deeply rooted in who you are. Your soul did not come here to conquer others, but to master yourself. And this moment, no matter how dazzling, is only meaningful if your heart remains intact within it. That is why Spirit has anchored this message so firmly at the core of your journey. You did not win because you competed harder, you won because you chose integrity when no one was watching. Because you did the right thing when it would have been easier to walk away. And now, the rewards are real, but so is the responsibility. With great elevation comes great temptation. You'll be surrounded by opportunity, but also distraction. Attention, applause, offers. But not all of them are meant for you. That's why your grounded heart is the compass that must guide you now more than ever. This isn't about rejecting abundance, it's about honoring it. When God gives, He gives in full. But He also watches what you do with the blessing. Do you build something sacred with it? Or do you forget who you are trying to hold on to what was never truly yours? These are the quiet questions rising now from your soul. The truth is, Leo, your light is becoming brighter. And a brighter light doesn't just attract support, it draws attention, envy, and even hidden motives. That's why discernment is no longer optional, it's your armor. You're being called to celebrate this breakthrough not with ego, but with clarity. To lead with warmth, not with noise. Because your impact isn't in what you gain but in how you hold it. You've endured more than most people see. You've worked silently, prayed when no one knew, healed through sleepless nights. And now that the storm is passing, it's easy to want to prove something to those who doubted you, to the ones who walked away. But proving is a distraction. The true legacy you leave will never be in what you show, but in what you build quietly with peace in your heart. This is why we pause here to breathe, to remember. Because even when your pockets fill, your soul must stay light. Take care of your health. Your heart is the throne of your soul. Stress may try to hide itself in your spine or your chest, especially in these high-energy times. Morning meditation is no longer just a nice ritual, it's a requirement. It aligns your energy before the world asks for a piece of it. Nourish your body, especially your nervous system. Omega-3s and B12 can support you as your energy field expands. This isn't a time to push through fatigue, it's time to work in rhythm with your body's wisdom. In work, if your environment feels constraining or energetically stale, this is the universe nudging you toward autonomy. Freelancing or starting your own project isn't just a financial move, it's a soul-led path to reclaiming freedom. And financially, your windfall is only the beginning. You're not meant to spend wildly, you're meant to sow wisely. Think long-term. Consider gold, land, education, things that will outlive the thrill and secure your peace. And love? Oh Leo, your energy is magnetic now. Your radiance is no longer subtle, it's celestial. Soulmate energy is circling your field, and they are drawn to your clarity, not your chaos. Express love. Be bold with it. Say it. Show it. Because your emotional field is not only healing, it's calling in divine partnership. You are no longer waiting, you are preparing. And the moment you choose to love without fear, the door opens. So in all things, remember this: victory is not the end, it's the beginning of a deeper devotion. To your purpose. To your peace. To your path. Stay soft, even when life gets loud. Stay true, even when options multiply. Because you are not here to just win, you are here to lead a life that feels like home. And that is your real reward. Dear Leo, you weren't guided here by coincidence, you were called, deeply, by a higher intelligence that sees what you've endured behind closed doors. There's no more need to explain yourself to those who didn't witness the quiet battles, the sacrifices, the prayers whispered into pillows late at night. The justice you seek isn't just legal or financial, it's karmic. And it's arriving not as a reward for being perfect, but as a sacred return for staying true when life gave you every reason to give up. The universe is balancing the books. What was taken in silence will now be returned in overflow. That's why everything is shifting now. That's why you felt the unease, the buildup, the spiritual tension. You're standing at the threshold of karmic payout. You don't need to prove your worth anymore. You've already paid in tears, in growth, in choosing light when the darkness tempted you to fold. And now, wealth isn't just money, it's alignment. It's finally being able to breathe without anxiety wrapping around your chest. It's waking up knowing you're not in survival mode anymore. It's receiving that letter, that check, that opportunity that validates what your intuition has whispered all along, that you were always worthy of more. And that more is here. So take a deep breath. This moment, it's not the end of the road. It's the first page of your new chapter, the chapter where power returns to you, where clarity replaces confusion, where money begins chasing you because your energy no longer tolerates lack. But remember this: miracles move through movement. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for the fear to disappear. Your wealth is on the other side of the action you've been afraid to take. Choose now. And if this video found you exactly when you needed it, then scroll away silently. Your presence matters here. Comment below with, "I claim my karmic justice and financial victory," to lock in this message into the physical. Say it out loud as a declaration, not a wish. Let the universe hear your readiness. Then, like this video to anchor the energy. Subscribe to Eternal Mindfulness if your soul is ready to receive more divine timing moments like this. Share this video with someone who's been quietly holding on. They need this message too. You're not just watching content here. You're co-creating with the cosmos. And when you engage, you amplify the signal. You ripple the energy. You magnetize faster. Thank you for allowing this space to hold you today. You were never too late. You were always on time for your miracle. And now, it's your turn. Let's claim what was always yours.